Joining me now is the chair of the subcommittee leading the charge, Senator Raphael Warnock, a Democrat from Georgia, an individual who has the distinction, I suppose, of having won the same Senate seat twice in little less than 2 years. Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you very much. Representing the people of Georgia is a high honor of my life.
We're very happy to have you with us. You know, I don't think anyone would dispute the idea that bank fees are nettlesome and concerning. Bank and other fees, and not just bank fees, that these so-called junk fees are troubling, and particularly to lower income individuals who may not qualify for the kinds of banking or checking accounts that are sort of no fee. But my question for you, Senator, is where and why does the federal government have the power to come in and intervene in a matter of pricing? Isn't that sort of just price controls that you're talking about?
Thank you for the question. No, the government has a role to play and a responsibility to protect consumers, and that is something that I remain laser focused on as chair of financial institutions and consumer protections for the Banking and Housing Committee for the United States Senate. Consumers deserve to know what they're paying for. What we're seeing in too many industries is a kind of bait and switch. And consumers very often are told one price only to discover there's something else, and below that there's something else, which, by the way, reduces competition. And so the ways in which this is a drag on the total marketplace, on our economy, while at the same time slamming ordinary consumers is a real concern. And we're very focused on doing something about this.
I certainly see and am sympathetic to the idea that transparency is critical here. People need to know what they're going to be charged for. But can't consumers, if they are dealt with transparently, can't consumers in effect protect themselves by shopping around and shopping for the lower fees, shopping for the bank that doesn't charge $3.75 for using one of its competitors' cards in its own ATM?
We are seeing this across several different industries. I will give you one example that in the Atlanta market and in other markets, as many folks are renters, dealing with the issue of affordable housing, and there's not a lot of housing available in the first place. They apply, and there's a fee attached to that, and then they find out that what they think the cost of the rent is actually not the cost of the rent. And by that time, you're already hooked in, and you're talking about an economy where the average American doesn't have $400 for an emergency, and literally people are being trapped where they're already on the hook. And again, getting out of it is not as easy as you suggest, and too many landlords know this, and they're playing games with the consumers.
I'm curious.
We have an absolute right and responsibility to do something about that.
I'm curious because I'm unfamiliar with the scenario that you just described. I understand that there may be fees for a credit check fee or an application fee when somebody is applying for.
There are fees. There are fees being charged to tell you that we're getting ready to charge you a fee.
Yeah.
And this is a drag on the economy. Not only is this the right, addressing this in order to protect the ordinary consumer, not only is it the right thing to do, it's the smart thing to do. This is adding no value to the American economy at all. And the federal government and local governments, state and local governments, have a long tradition of protecting consumers. The public sector has a role to play, and the private sector has a role to play. And we want to see competition in the marketplace. And in order to encourage that competition, consumers need to know what they're on the hook for from the very beginning.
You mentioned, I think, that there are occasions where renters where the rent that they think they're paying isn't really the rent they are going to pay. So there's confusion there. I don't understand how that happens. Give me an example of how and why that happens.
I can tell you that the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania, who testified in the hearing yesterday, has had to go after bad actors in that space. What we've seen over the last few years is a lot of the housing, of course, being purchased in Georgia and other markets by private equity. And it's not everybody, but there are bad actors in this space who are preying on vulnerable people and getting out of this and then getting in a rental unit and then finding that it costs more than they revealed in the first place through pages and pages and pages of documents. Then moving your family to another unit, that's not easy.
Yeah.
To do, and they know it.
Let's switch.
And when you're seeing this kind of failure rate, there's a degree of intentionality in that.
Let's turn the page on this, a fascinating topic. I know we'll be coming back to you for more on it as the discussions continue.